What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Jay's Life Out Loud. Today's topic is going to be random things that are on my mind that's going on out here in the world. Um, I'm seeing a lot of people that, are getting married, getting into new relationships. And I see that getting into a new relationship, most people come in and they think that the relationship is just going to be them and that other person that they with. Some people believe that after they're in a relationship for so long, or it could be right away. They get married and they assume that they are in this relationship with just them two. No, it's never that way. Never. Um, if you have kids, that adds more to the mix. And these things, if you have a mother or a father or whatever the case may be, it adds to the relationship because that becomes a lot of times it becomes intertwined that you guys deal with each other's family, which is a given. Some people don't bother with their family at all. That's their choice. But this one aspect of being in a new relationship or getting out of an old relationship that bothers me. And what bothers me is if you have already been out of a relationship and your ex does things to try to maybe complicate your new relationship or just your life in general, which will affect your relationship. I think that's petty. I really do. If you are no longer with a person and you're not in a relationship and you guys have kids together and that person doing them and you doing you and you can still be single or whatever the case may be, but you taking care of that child. I think it's petty for that ex to try to cause issues between the child and you, or doing things that would lead the child to disrespect you, or you're doing things to lead for the child to disrespect that other person. I think that's wrong. I think that a lot of times when relationships don't work, people have to learn to cut ties. I don't care if it's a soul tie that you got to pray loose from. I don't care if it's just what you're used to. If you're used to that person being able to take your phone call and you sit on the phone and talk to them about A, B, and C. I've had people come to me, ask for advice, and they say, well, I had a friend of mine ask me about a guy that she was dating, and the guy was still leaving open space for his ex-wife to call his phone and just have conversations. And she wasn't comfortable with that. And in my opinion, she asked me my advice, and I told her I wouldn't be comfortable with that either. It's understandable if you have children together and you have to communicate. That's fine. But if it goes past that and you're just having general conversation after that, I don't care how close y'all are. If you in a relationship with somebody else, you got to cut that to a bare minimum. If not, cut it off altogether. Speak, hey, how you doing? Text, how you doing? Everything's good. All right. But other than that, no. And I think too that just because your relationship status changes, it should not change how you treat your children. I've seen people that get out of relationships. It could be a man or a woman. We used to saying, once the man is out of the relationship, if he ain't getting it no more from the woman, he out. He not gonna take care of the kids or whatever. But I've seen it on both sides, firsthand. Firsthand, I've seen it, and I can't understand the life of me how a person can go from a full-time father or a full-time mother and just drop off out of space. You no longer hold the same regard for that child as you did when you were in a marriage. To me, that's selfish. You can move on and go into other relationships and do whatever you want in your life, but it's always time under the sun to do what is important, and that's spending time with your children. I also think it's wrong if you were the one that was the cause of the breakup of the relationship, but yet and still you continue to poke and jab at that other person. I think it's petty when a person moves on, and then when they look at the person they're with, they get upset because now that person's moved on. But you moved on. How can you be upset when that other person moves on? You thought they was going to lay around and wait on you till you was done doing what you're doing? And I think most time people say that it's men. But I say it's people. It's what we do as people. One thing that I've always told myself was that I will never, ever abandon one of my children. Never. I have 3 beautiful children. My children are older, 27, 24, and 20. And I was there from day one, nonstop. Never disappeared, never went nowhere, and I'm still there anytime they need me. So my thing of it is, I think it is a selfish thing for a person to abandon their child, because that's what you're doing. If you only send them money and that's it, you still abandoning the child, period. If you mad because the person put you on child support because you wasn't doing what you was supposed to do, and that goes for men and women. I've had, females tell me they was on child support because they wasn't doing what they wanted to do. They wanted to go hang, they wanted to go shake the tail feather, jump in the street, put your booty out, put your booty in, whatever they wanted to do. And I've seen men and talked to men that have done it. I've told different men flat out that they talk about, because, there are people at work that know about my divorce, and that was 6-7 years ago. So guys that I talk to, that are maybe going through the same thing or headed that way, I always tell them, make sure this is what you want. Because a lot of times once you cross that threshold, there's no going back. Because most people that have been in a long relationship and they get out of one, they usually go through a change. They usually go through a almost like a caterpillar turned into a butterfly. There's a change. That caterpillar, as it's going, as it's in that cocoon-like state and it's changing, that's where all that pain and everything, it's used to crawling, and then it goes through that pain and it sits in that pain and it grows from that pain and it learns from that pain, and then you'll see that butterfly take off flying. And a lot of people, that X that sees that caterpillar went from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Now they see that beautiful butterfly and they like, wow, I had that. Damn, I let that go. Look at the colors. She wasn't like that, or he wasn't like that when I was with him. What happened? You happened. Life happened. Pain happened. And they came out on the other end better than they was. Not to say that you couldn't have got that butterfly out of that person. But I will say this. Some men and some women will pour the right things into a relationship to get that butterfly without having to hurt it, break it, whatever else, and leave it to see it turn into a butterfly, to see that caterpillar turn into a butterfly. But a lot of us won't take that time. A lot of us won't learn our mates to understand what it is that they need to grow, what it is they need for you to water. You know, if they're asking for certain things and you think it's complaining or it's this, is that, or whatever, you know, that butterfly wasn't meant for you. But how dare you, when it's all said and done and you are the reason behind this, that you swat at that butterfly. You see the butterfly getting ready to land on a branch, and you break the branch so they can't land on it. But the butterfly gonna still fly. You just being a hater because you're mad you ain't got what you used to. Then you got people that leave a relationship, and because they're not getting that woman or that man anymore, they leave the child to suffer for what they decided to do. The child didn't ask to be here. The child never asked you to lay down in that bed and do that tango. You know, they didn't ask for that. That's something that you did. So now this child suffers because you couldn't live up to your responsibility. Nobody was asking you to be superwoman or Superman and fly over tall buildings and leap bounds and all this. No, just asked you to be a mama or a daddy. That's it. And spending time is not something that's hard. You can go for a walk and spend time. You can go to the corner store, buy a juice and a bag of chips and talk on the way back to the house. That's spending time. It only take you a minute. Because if you got time to go do other things, if you got time to go romance a man, if you got time to go romance a woman, you got time to go spend with that child. And nowadays, a text is nothing. I mean, to send a text only take a couple of minutes. To get on the phone, you know, everything is fast. So you can't say, I don't have time. No, I said I wasn't going to be on here long. We already had 12 minutes. But, you know, it just kills me to see how people act when the relationship is over. It kills me, the thought pattern that they have when it comes to that ex-spouse, or that ex-girlfriend, or that ex-boyfriend, or that, my ex-husband, or how then you got people that move on, get in new relationships, and then begin to treat their children as if they're the stepchildren, and treat that other person's children as they're the real children. Shit is crazy. To be honest, it's crazy. I mean, come on now. You have to understand that if you don't do what you're supposed to do as a father or as a mother, now you're sending another person out in this world that 9 times out of 10, they're going to take damage before they're even old enough to carry themselves as an adult. Now you got a person out here that has to go make sure that they straight because if you get what I'm saying, because you weren't mature enough to do what you're supposed to do. Now this child has to go through some type of psychological drama or psychological pain because of you. So you not only broke up a relationship, or that didn't work with that person. So I don't know, if you left a scar on that woman, you left a scar on that man. Now you're gonna leave a scar on your own child because you want to go over here and do this and do that. That's selfish. That is the epitome of selfish. I see people that, and I understand, some black men will say, or, even black women, I didn't have a mama, so I don't know how to talk to my kids, or I didn't have a daddy, so I don't know how to, but you know what's right from wrong, don't you? That's a given. So you would treat somebody the way you would expect to be treated. With my daughter, I treat my daughter like a queen. And with my boys, I try to give them the best knowledge that I have so that they don't have to go through hitting their heads where I hit my head at. And when we talk about my ex-wife, which is their mother, all three of my kids are by one woman. And when we talk about that, I'm honest in the things that I did wrong within that relationship and within that marriage. They deserve that. So my message is leave your ex alone. If you got an ex and they happy, she, he, or whatever the case may be, let them be happy. If you have kids with somebody that you're not with anymore, don't make it miserable for the man. Don't make it miserable for the woman. Do what you have to do to make sure that that child has everything that it needs to succeed. Make sure that that child has all the love it can get from both sides. So therefore, when you already, the seed is already grown, but you want to keep fertilizing it with the right fertilizer. And without a mother or without a father, you leave that child lacking in something that it has to find somewhere else. And if that child don't go to the Lord, or it don't go to the right step parent, or the right guardian, or that right grandmother, or the right pastor, or whatever that person may be that takes that spot, can't fully ever take that spot of that parent, but that is standing in that gap, you better hope it's the right person that don't lead your child astray. So what I tell you is, if the other person is happy, let them be happy. I don't care what happened in the past. I don't care what anger that you're holding on to, or what your beliefs is on what's yours and what's hers and what's his and what's mine. Let that person be happy. If a person is raising your children and you continue to attack them or try to make their life difficult because of what you believe, but you know they're doing a good job raising your children, leave them alone. Move on. Leave them alone. If you happy and everything is good with you and you living your life, let that person be. Don't move on, and because you ain't completely happy, you want to reach back and still keep drama up. Or don't want to do what you're supposed to do for your children. There is no way that your child, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, that your child should not hear from you, if not a couple of times a week, or see you every other weekend, or whatever things that y'all work out. And if the child is old enough to do his or her own thing, and you still ain't reaching out, because now that other parent is out the way, even if you're saying, oh, that person was, because I can understand there are times where you have people that will block the father or the mother from seeing their children. They do all this crazy stuff just to stop them. And they don't understand how they're affecting that child. But they believe, he or she, they not giving me no money to do this. And he or she, that's between you and them. You have to separate between when they want to spend time with that child. Now, if this person is an abuser, if this person is living in unsafe conditions, I can understand you not letting this child go with this person. I totally understand, because there are times when you have a woman that moves in with a man or marries somebody, and you have a little girl, and you're not going to let that little girl go just anywhere. Some bylaws have got to be made beforehand, period. And nowadays, really young boys, because you don't know what that other person is doing, but it needs to be checked out beforehand. I would never go bother my ex-wife. Never. I would never step in between a relationship between my ex-wife and my children. That's just me. Because time heals all wounds. But maturity is something that you have to learn within yourself. And sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, am I being petty? You have somebody that you was with, that you left, or y'all broke up and y'all got kids together or a child together, and she or he gets into a relationship or gets married, then all of a sudden you say, well, I'm no longer needed. He or she, they got a mother now because my ex, he with a woman, so she can be the mama. Or my ex, she with a man, he can be the daddy now. That's not how that works. We got to do better than this. For real. Put all your pettiness aside, and it's about the children. Put your pettiness aside. If it's over, let that person go on and be that butterfly. So once again, if your ex is happy, sit your miserable ass down. I'm your boy Jay from Jay's Life Out Loud. You understand? I just wanted to get that out of there. I've been hearing a lot of it from women and men. I hear a lot of people say, oh, these men there, you got to put them on child support, blah, 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 blah. Some of that is true. But I've sat and talked with grown men that had women that just dropped out of their child's life after they were split up. That never come see the child, spend no time with the child, nothing. So don't say it's just men or most time it's men. No. That's just within what you see. But if you look around, it happens more times than often with women and men. So don't just think it's a man thing that a man don't take care of his children. It happens the same way. Just like the leaving your ex alone and letting them live a life and doing just little petty stuff and just childish just to be, I don't get it. Me personally, I don't get it. If we ain't together and we ain't cool like that, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to let you live your life. I'm not going to bother nobody that ain't bothering me. And if you bother me, I'm going to set you straight. Period. And I think it takes a lot of maturity that no matter how you feel or no matter what you're going through, you make sure that your kids is okay. Don't push your kids' feelings aside. Oh, they just kids. Kids turn into adults that will leave you the fuck alone. Believe that. I know kids that don't mess with their parents right now because of what they did when they was growing up. I'm just being real. Listen to your kids. Let them tell you how they feel. I'm not saying you got to be their best friend. I'm not saying that to let them disrespect you. But if a child says to the parent, I feel like, I want you to know that I feel inside that, and you shut that child down and you tell them, I'm the parent, I don't care how you feel. And you have an attitude that you are superior to your kids in every way. That's not love in that. You have to allow your children to talk to you. As they say to some children growing up, little babies, they say, use your words. Angry people, they tell you, use your words. Talk to me. I need to hear what you're feeling, Just don't attack. Come on, talk to me. You got to let that child talk to you. But you got some people that just don't believe in that. They believe that a child should just shut up and do whatever. My kids were allowed to talk. and tell me how they feel. But if you was wrong, you got taxed. You're not gonna come to me after a certain age and you cussing and telling me this and this and that or whatever. But if you're telling me how you feel and we sitting down and we conversating and we go over it, I don't care if I take you out for a burger and whatever, just ice cream, and we talk. To this day, I talk to my kids like that. My phone, my door, they call, they come by, whatever it is they need. If I got it, they got it. Ain't no, me and your mama ain't together no more, Ain't no need for me to talk to you no more. No, that ain't how that work. It's just sad though. To me, it's sad that I keep seeing it in every different way, in every different scenario. If it's a man that's doing it, it's a woman that's doing it, however the case may be. It's sad. The whole bit of it is sad sometimes. Well, I've been rambling long enough. Thank y'all for watching. Holla at me later. Oh, happy holidays.